G'day everyone, welcome to the Martial Arts Business Success, episode 81. And I'm Graham McDonald.
And I'm Phil Britton, as always.
Hey look, Phil, what have we got today, mate? I'll let you take it away.
Structuring your classes. I mean, there's so many ways you can structure a class, but at the end of the day, I think the changing point or the tipping point is, are you structuring the classes for you or are you structuring it for your clients? Because if you're structuring it for you, then you're not going to get the results you want.
Look, I know this is something we've touched on previously, but it's always questions that come to us from our clients that we deal with. How do they go about it? How do they make that transition? When do they do it? Because a lot of the guys that we help out and we coach are already set in their ways. They've got a school, they've got established, they're at that glass ceiling and they're trying to break through. Some guys run just school terms, and how do they then restructure it so it goes for the whole year? That's obviously a whole other topic on that, but let's just talk about the exact classes and how we actually structure our programs, how we structure our classes to get the best results for our clients, which really that's the end game. So, mate, what is the first thing that we've got to take into consideration when we're looking to establish a program? Let's just say we've got no students and we've got the luxury of having a blank school, a blank template. What do we consider first when we sort of go down this pathway?
I'm a big believer of begin with the end in mind. So if it's just going a new school, blank timetable, no members, I still want a timetable that is full. Like it's still a 6-day-a-week timetable, and we're talking about age-specific learning and belt-specific learning. And at the end of the day, I don't want a 6-year-old in with a 15-year-old. They just learn differently. They need different things. I don't want kids with adults. They all need different things. I don't want the real little, like sort of 3, 4-year-olds, if you do that in your programs like we do, in with 6 or 7-year-olds. Like there is a science and there is an art to selecting the right age groups depending on how they learn. And I mean, you can just have a look at the schooling system, to be honest, and you can see where you can get away with combining side-by-side grades or year groups, but once you go outside 3 or 4 or 5 years, then it's just different.
There's also another reason behind that people often overlook, and this is to do with your leadership team and your instructor training. If you've got such a wide variety of age groups, it makes it very hard to find the right type of, instructor or developing instructor to come and teach. For example, if you've got a GEM 13-year-old, but you've got structured classes between 6 right up to 15, they're bang smack in the middle. Those 15-year-olds are not going to look at a 13-year-old and have that same level of respect. So something that's really helped us is to identify what are those age groups. And for us, we found our magic number really worked well for 3 to 5, 5 to 8. Now you'll see there's an overlap there of 5-year-olds in each one, simply because there are some kids that are 5 years old, coming up to 5, and they still haven't quite develop that confidence or that ability to get in with larger groups or other students and feel comfortable. So they stick with the kind of the littlies. They're the big fish in the little pond, so to speak. But then we've got our 5 to 8s, because we've got 5-year-olds there that have had big brothers and sisters, or they're a go-getter, and they're in that group and they've got no issues being in with that 5 to 8-year-olds. Then again, we talk about our 9 up to about 13-year-olds. And again, when we talk 13s, look, at the end of the day, it's that transition between 12 and 13, because nowadays with the schooling system the way it is, when they're hitting 12 and 13, they're high schools. They don't want to be with the little kids anymore. Physically, they're not mature enough to be, training at an adult's level, but that doesn't mean that they can't train alongside those guys. And it's very much an individual thing as a school that you guys need to understand. We also do have a rare few classes. We've got a couple in there. We've got our teens program, and that's the 13s to about 16s. It's not a huge one, but it's in there as well too. So you see, we've actually got quite a few different sort of class groups, as in age groups, and then there's belt levels that goes with that. But at the end of the day, it's really getting an idea of understanding nowadays how kids learn and that age group, and again also understanding what their comprehension levels like, so that they don't get bored.
Yeah, I guess what every system of martial arts is a little bit different. So if we've got the age levels correct, and we think that that suits really well in the Australian market, it might be different in America or UK, I'm not too sure. But then there's the belt levels. Now it depends on what how long they're in a particular belt for. We have our beginner belt, our white and yellow belts together, because we have white belts for 6 months and yellow belts for about 6 months. So 3 months and 3 months. So it's a 6-month process between white belt to yellow belt. So 2 belts in 6 months. So 3 months white belt, 3 months yellow belt. Give or take as well, depending on where people are at. It's always a bit of give and take, and depending when graduations and gradings fall as well. Then we've got the orange and blue belts. Now we have orange and blues together. We do separate some, and we do have some together at orange and blue belt level. The curriculum is the same. Rotating curriculum, we teach the same to orange and blues, and that age specific group as well, same with white and yellow. Once they get to that green belt level, they're in there all by themselves, so green's all on their own, brown's all on their own, and black's all on their own, because we want to make sure that they get the exact need that they need at that higher end level, the advanced level.
So look, there's a breakdown of how we put the classes together and whatnot, but then it's about the operation. How do we actually develop the content that is age appropriate? Because, Phil, I know that we basically have a very similar system for our kids and our adults, but the content's a little different and there are requirements of what's being taught. Why is that? Why do we do that?
Well, basically, there's two reasons. One, if I look at the instructor point of view, if you could just imagine like an instructor having to teach completely different things to all the different ages and all the different, your brain would be hanging out trying to keep up with the requirements. So we want to make sure, one, it's really easy for the instructor to transition from a white belt real little kids class to a white belt teens class to an adults. Now, let me just get this straight. The adults content is way harder, way more involved than the little kids, but the little kids have a very, kiddie version of that. So, for example, we might have a self-defense move where the little kids will learn just the defense to a back off, verbal back off. The teens might learn it with a softening strike towards the end with a takedown, and then the adults might do all that but multiple attacker. So that's just a little example. Another example of how you would structure your content is if you could just imagine like the games, and like we all play games in martial arts, and sometimes even the adults like playing games. Sometimes the same games, but if you just looked at the games, like you don't want to be teaching, everyone loves dodge. Monster dodge is the big fitball or laser dodge we call it. If you're going to play dodge throughout your school, you want to make sure that you've got a little kid version of it, a sort of 10-year-old version of it. Like it's got to evolve, it's got to get better, it's got to get harder, it's got to get more engaged, and even adults love playing dodge too, but they don't want to play it like the little kids do. They want to have a different version of it. So as the games evolve, you want to make sure that you have games that suit little kids, games that suit the medium kids, the teens, and games or team building activities for the adults. Same goes with your curriculum as well. You want to start from here all the way up so that they're getting a great themed of skills throughout each month and throughout each level.
Yeah, for sure. And look, so we've got our content down, we've got our age group down. Now we're talking about lesson plans and how we structure our lesson plans. Now, we like to have really quite clear outlines for our instructors to be able to follow. As a developing instructor, they'll need to follow word for word. For a senior groomed instructor who knows the content, they may just have a quick look to see the flow and away you go. But it's very much important that you've got a warm-up, and again, it's in that warm-up, you're setting up the theme for the content of the class. Now, what that means is you're not doing a warm-up of skills that does not align with what you want to accomplish. So simply jogging on the spot or skipping or whatnot when you're doing a pat or a kata, hey, it's a great warm-up, but it might not lead them into that skill set that you want. So we have warm-ups that align with what we want to accomplish. If we're focusing on focus, it'll be a warm-up that requires that focus. If it's explosive energy or there's a kicking drill involved, we would do that sort of drill and skill in class. What comes up next in that sort of sequence? So warm-up first, what happens after that?
So you've got your warm-up, then we obviously, after a warm-up, make sure you're giving your kids and students a drink, that's for sure. So especially in Australia, in summer, we want to make sure that we're giving them lots of drink breaks. But after that sort of warm-up, it all depends whether you're going to have a little bit of a mat chat then, or towards the end of class, a little bit of a customizable thing for different schools. And I know that our instructors have it quite regimented at certain times to do their specific mat chats, but then you're really going into your skills and drills. So it might be pads, it might be defense takedowns, it's skills and specific drills that are going to complement what's coming next, which is the tip belt requirements. Graham?
Look, I know that our tip and belt requirements are skills and drills. We've got a great way, and Phil, it was I think a term you coined, but we kind of use it, super drill. So we've done the skills drills, we've done the refinement, we've taught them technique. Now we're sequencing and putting into an activity or an exercise that is a flowing exercise. So it could be a 3 or a 4 or a 5 minute round depending on the age group. But the whole idea is to do it, let's say, and again, example, self-defense technique where they will learn the grab, they'll do the defense, they may do the takedown, they get back up, they swap partners, but the drill continues to roll. So there's that high energy of that class, you're peaking at that point, which is always a great thing. So people are going away on a high. And then depending on the attitude of the class, it's in there, but it's not something our instructors do every single time, is to finish up with your game. And then also notifications for parents and any awards or rewards, badges, certificates that need to be handed out. Because at the end of the day, if we don't have that detailed recipe, warm-up, skills and drills, content to help them progress for their next grading, whatever that may be, tip testing as we would call it, your super drills, so that little bit of energy, and then kind of your wrap up, your cool down, which could be a game, a reset, a chat, and then again communication to the parents or the students in the class, whatever that may be. Having that form up really does allow you to have a smooth class flow, and it gets repeated time and time again. Just the content changes for the different age group and I guess the different ability levels.
I guess so. It's a massive point of difference when someone's looking at getting out of the engine room and sailing their ship. If you don't have the systems and structure in place, lesson plans and curriculum, then you're never going to be able to empower others to do the job that you were doing. If I want to almost just leave you with this one type of thought, is that imagine your lesson plans and your curriculum like a map. For example, you have a destination that you need to go to, black belt, X marks the spot on the treasure map. And to get there is, the clues along the way. So if you go over here, you got to learn this, you got to know this, you got to get this bit of content, and that's going to help you get to that point, and that's going to help you get to that point, and so on and so forth until you get to X marks the spot. Same thing applies. Your lesson plans and curriculum are the recipe that you need to follow to get to X marks the spot, which is black belt and beyond. So without the lesson plans, without the curriculum that's clearly identified and easily consumable by your students, they could get lost. They could get confused. They could, leave because they don't know what direction they're going in. So, it's so important that you have these visible, you have them attainable, you have them understandable by your instructors and your students, more importantly.
Great. Today's tip for you guys before we move on is, this is something I've definitely helped a lot of our clients, and I feel you've done this as well too, is where do you start with this? So for you guys, you may be excited going, yep, I want to do it, but it's a massive job. So I would recommend doing your classes as you do and voice record, whether it's on your phone, usually the easiest, voice record you at the end of the night going over what you did in those classes. Today I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then getting that transcribed. There's a couple of places that you can do. We've got SpeechPad, I believe there's one there.
Yeah, we've got a new one we're using called Rev, which is quite worth $1 a minute.
Yep, $1 a minute. They'll take that audio transcribed into words, and then honestly guys, you could even find someone that you yourself, or again another online provider, that would put that into the template of that lesson plans. And you're starting to build it out now. It's not going to be a set and forget. You'd have to review that, but at least you're taking away that big daunting task of creating curriculum. Because at the end of the day, it's a must, but sometimes it'll be a challenge to get started. So that's today's tip for you guys on how to get started there.
All right, guys, we're going to finish with 3 promos. We've got 2 sponsorship and 2 amazing offers. Now, first off, Graham and I and a good friend of ours, another Graham, have just launched a brand new software. It's a CRM software called the Martial Arts Business Software. Now, we have been frustrated along with you to be able to find a really good CRM that does anything and everything that we've ever wanted to do in a martial arts school. And we've really taken in consideration large schools and small schools. And we wanted to provide a service that far outmatched anyone that's out there currently as well. So Martial Arts Business Software is an attendance logging software. It does, it has the capability to do some amazing things. It's obviously your CRM where you log your people in. You can do attendance report. Anything that you wanted, it's going to be in here. And the good news is the core product we're calling White Belt, because White Belt is at the beginning that all schools should have. So the core product's White Belt, and the best thing about it, we're giving it away absolutely free. That's absolutely free. So if you're interested in learning more about Martial Arts Business Software, CRM and attendance tracking software that we've created, please reach out to us. The landing pages and all that sort of stuff are all getting built right now. So by the time this podcast comes live, it'll all be ready for you. So just reach out to us at admin@tima.com.au and we'll be happy to give you some information about this free CRM attendance logging software and the benefits and I guess the outcomes for you as the business owner as well. Graham, other two?
Another one, we've got our buddies from Hyper, okay, a global brand, great sort of add value product in your schools. Guys, I can't say it enough, and I say it nearly on every podcast because I love them so much and what they provide for us and our schools and our instructors. So guys, check out the link that we've got on the page. Go and check out what they have to offer. They've got so many great features in there to help you grow and add value into your school. So again, the guys from Hyper, both Roland and Jason, massive shout out to you guys because we use it on a regular basis. We've also got one more that we've got that, you know, we've been working diligently behind the scenes to really kind of update our content in the Tima site and to really give you guys an opportunity as a podcast listener and also the viewer a chance to get in there and have a bit of a poke around yourself is the Try 5 for 5. And what that basically is you get full access to all the content and the videos that we have for 5 days for $5. So what you need to do is log into the Tima site, tima.com.au, go down, follow links, you'll click on the complete, business solution, I think it is the name of it. Go in there, there's a couple of things, the promo code, try 5 for 5, so TRY and number 5.
That's it.
And you guys will get access straight in there. Check it out, guys. There's tons of stuff. And I tell you what, we're continually updating to give you guys the best and most current information. So, I think that's it for the moment, team. Again, thank you so much for sticking around. We love sharing with you guys, and we could speak for days and years on this sort of topics. But if you have any questions specific, please let us know because we'll tell you real world stuff that's working now. And if we don't know, we'll test and measure and we'll get back to you straight away. So admin@tima.com.au. Don't forget, guys, tell your friends, share this podcast, get it out there because we love to serve and help the entire community globally.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Have a fantastic week.
Innovating the martial arts industry.